Today we are cooking up the perfect menu for a backyard barbecue, and I asked you guys over on my community page here on YouTube, what am I missing from my menu? So definitely go over to that post and read all the responses. I've got homemade potato salad, burgers, hot dogs, and much more. Let's go. Okay, so I love potato salad, but not just any potato salad. This is actually my Grandma Miller's recipe for potato salad, and it is super simple. I am using 4 russet potatoes, so I'm just kind of making a smaller batch today. You want to boil those with the skin on. It usually takes about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the size of your potatoes. The reason for this is that they will not get waterlogged if you as opposed to peeling them and cubing them and then boiling them that way. So while the potatoes are cooking, I'm going to hard boil some eggs. I just recently purchased a Dash mini egg cooker. I have resisted this appliance for so long, and let me tell you, it is well worth it. So basically you use the little pin to poke holes in your eggs, and then you use the measuring cup to pour water in. You put your eggs in there and it hard boils them, I would say, in less than 10 minutes. I know that I can do, hard-boiled eggs in a pot on the stove or in the Instant Pot, but honestly, this is just so convenient. I'm super glad that I ordered this. So I'll link the one that I got down below. I just ordered it from Amazon. So while the eggs are cooking and the potatoes have cooled off enough for me to handle them, I'm going to go ahead and peel these. I just used kind of a paring knife to scrape the peel off. Once you boil them this way, the peels will come off super easy. And I find that using a paring knife is a lot easier because sometimes if you use a peeler on cooked potatoes, they will get a little bit kind of gummed up in there. I'm cubing these into probably a little bit less than 1-inch cubes and putting them in a bowl. I'm going to season them with 3 capfuls of white vinegar. And then I'm also going to season them with a little bit of this Alpine Touch seasoning. I believe this is made in Montana. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one of the things that my grandma always uses in her potato salad. And as long as I use that with the white vinegar, it tastes exactly like hers and I love it. I'm going to go ahead and peel the hard-boiled eggs, and as you can see, these peel super easy. That's something that sometimes I struggle with when I cook them on the stove. I'm going to go ahead and take 1 egg and use my egg slicer. I'll link this down below also. I got it on Amazon, and I just slice that one way, cross it the other way to dice the egg, and then I'm going to mix in 1 of those eggs with my potatoes. The recipe calls for just a tiny little bit of minced onion. I typically use white or yellow onion, whatever I have on hand. And for this particular recipe, I'm probably just using a couple of tablespoons. You can add as much or as little as you want. I don't like big chunks of onion. I kind of just like the flavor in there. So now for the dressing. Again, super simple, but this is how I love it. So it's half Miracle Whip, half mayo with a little bit of half and half to make the dressing really creamy. So for these 4 potatoes, I used approximately half a cup of Miracle Whip, half a cup of mayo, and then I used some half and half to kind of shake the jar out so I could get the rest of the mayo out. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to season this super simply with some vinegar, probably, I don't know, maybe 2 teaspoons of vinegar and some more of that Alpine Touch seasoning. If you don't have the Alpine Touch on hand, you can just use salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I think that would work just as well. I went ahead and poured the dressing over the potato mixture. So that's got the potatoes seasoned with the vinegar and the Alpine Touch. Some chopped up eggs and onions, and this is it. Super simple potato salad recipe, but honestly, this is my favorite. So I'll put the recipe in the description box below, and let me know if you guys try it, or let me know how you make your potato salad. I know everyone kind of has a different way of doing it, but every time I eat this, it reminds me of my grandma. Okay, so you can't have a cookout or a barbecue without deviled eggs. And since I had 4 eggs left over from my Dash mini egg cooker, I decided to make deviled eggs with the rest of them. I think sometimes, at least I've felt like this before, that you can only make deviled eggs if you're making like a huge batch of them for a party. I my husband and I are the only ones that like deviled eggs in our house. My kids don't like them. So I make small batches of them a lot, and they're great for a snack or with the side for lunch or dinner as well. Now I'm going to season these deviled eggs the same way that I did the potato salad. So half Miracle Whip, half mayo, a little bit of vinegar, and some of that Alpine Touch seasoning. I also did put a little bit of dill pickle relish in this. I actually usually like to use sweet pickle relish, but I didn't have any on hand. Again, deviled eggs are kind of a personal thing. You just want to use as much seasoning as you like. You can add more mayo if you like the yolk mixture a little bit runnier, but I just kept mine super simple and put them in a container. Funny story, one time when I was a preteen / kid, I was making deviled eggs and my sister came into the kitchen and I told her that there was yellow frosting in the bowl and it was actually deviled egg filling, and she ate it. So, good core memory there. Okay, so I know that I said that you would like to have, or I would like to have, watermelon with my ultimate backyard barbecue, but I don't have a watermelon on hand right now, and I actually picked up these nectarines at Aldi, and they were super juicy and delicious, so I just decided to have this as my fruit instead. So I am coring these to the best of my ability. It's very messy, very juicy. None of the slices are perfect. That's totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and put them in a bowl. And then I also sliced up some strawberries to put in the bowl as well, and just toss that around. And obviously that makes a great side for your barbecue. I really wanted to make the crescent roll veggie pizza, but I didn't have time, so I'll have to make that for you guys another time. Baked beans. Okay, so yes, I have made homemade baked beans before, but this was a weeknight and it was definitely not on my list of things to do. So here you go. You're getting a can of baked beans, which to me is totally fine. I am not discriminating against a can of baked beans. It's still going to be delicious. For my burgers, I'm using 90% ground beef and some beef franks that I got from Aldi. I personally think that 90-10 ground beef is the best kind of fat level to use if you're going to grill burgers, especially on a gas grill, which I have. If you use a burger or a ground beef with higher fat content, it flares up too much because there's so much fat in the meat that the flames kind of, you end up getting like this way too flame broiled burger. So I just went ahead and broke this into 4 4-ounce patties. I like to use wax paper or parchment paper just to press down the patties so I can make sure that I get them evenly flat. I'm just seasoning these with Lowry seasoned salt, really underrated spice or seasoning in my opinion. And then I'm going to try to put these burgers on the grill one-handed while I hold my camera with the other hand. But I just made 4 burgers. Adam and I were the only ones that had burgers. The kids had hot dogs. But I normally make extra burgers anyway because I find that they are really good left over. So we have a gas grill. I put the hot dogs on the top rack and I cook the burgers on the bottom rack. I don't know how long it takes. Probably, 4 to 5 minutes on each side for the burgers. I probably leave the hot dogs on for about 10 minutes and just turn them until they are evenly browned on all sides. After the burgers are done, I just put them in a foil pan. I put a piece of American cheese on top of each one, and then I just cover these with foil and kind of just let them rest on the back of the stove so they can keep warm until it is time to eat. Okay, so corn on the cob is another must. My husband actually brought this corn home from work. They actually have a garden on the property where he works, and so we always get this corn every summer. It's great. I typically take the corn and I will put it in boiling water and boil it for about 8 minutes. You can boil it for more if you want it more tender, but I find sweet corn really doesn't take that long to cook. And then I just put like 3/4 of a stick of butter in the pot while it's still warm and just kind of put the lid on it and move the pieces of corn around. You're going to end up with a lot of butter on the bottom of your pan. Obviously, it all won't soak into the corn, but it's the best way that I've found to make sure that your corn is evenly buttered. I'm going to thin slice up some onion for the burgers. Actually, Adam is the only one that likes onion on his burgers, but that's fine. Cut it up for him. And then tomatoes. I always like to cut up extra tomatoes, and then I'll I'll put them on a plate and just season them with salt and pepper. So we'll use them on our burgers, but then I just love to eat sliced tomatoes with salt and pepper as a side as well. So I'm going to go ahead and build Adam's burger. So this is just a burger patty with cheese, tomato, and onion. I didn't get out any lettuce this time. We really like mayo on our burgers. Do you guys like mayo on your burgers too? It reminds me of Wendy's. For some reason, they put mayo on their burgers. And then I'm going to put a couple slices of dill pickle on there, ketchup and mustard, and then go ahead and put the lid on that. And then he wanted one hot dog and one burger. So I'm going to go ahead and get a hot dog as well. I actually couldn't fit everything all on one plate. I usually like to put the beans in a little bowl, kind of like on the side anyway, because otherwise it gets kind of messy. Also, I love to dip plain potato chips in my baked beans. It's so delicious. You should try it if you never have before. Obviously, we need the corn on the cob holders. I'm going to make a super big mess as I am spooning out the potato salad with a plastic fork. Why am I doing that? I don't know. You guys, this was so good. This is one of my very favorite meals to cook in the summer. It just reminds me of summer. I love grilling because you don't have as many dishes to do. I love potato salad, sweet corn. Obviously, I live in Iowa, so we have a lot of corn around here, and it's great to have that in the summertime. And of course, our canned baked beans. So comment below, what ultimate meal should I cook next? I actually did an ultimate breakfast meal with Cracker Barrel hash brown casserole. And if you want to watch that, you can click on the video right here.